So today I'll start with something called web scraping. Using Python. So what is web scraping? So I need a particular sort of data from a particular website. I don't want to do it manually. I don't want to go to the website. It's used it. I don't want to copy paste it manually. What I can do, I can write a Python code and it can fetch me the entire data from a particular website. Okay. Now this can be any particular website. So when we talk about the use cases, so it is widely used in a field of your opinion mining. It is widely used in the field of real estate, where people are looking for potential clients. It is widely used in any sales and marketing team, and it is widely used for data science and machine learning data extraction. Okay. Now, for web scraping, we have two things. One, we have a library called Beautiful Soup. Okay. So it's a library for web scraping, and we have an entire framework called scrapping. Okay, so it's complete framework to scrap a particular data.
What is this? Exactly
Another set of library, but it's kind of a full-fledged solution for any scrapping project.
So it's like we can see in that
So when, yeah. So when we say, let's take example of Django. When we say Django, it's a full-fledged framework to build a backend of any particular website. Similarly, if I'm working on any web scraping project, I'll be using scrapping. Okay, so I'll discuss a few points which are beneficial in terms of scrapping and which are not in good for support. Okay, all right. Anyone aware of search engine optimization?
Just heard of optimization, not about the internals and like what's the methodology used or what kind of.
Okay, familiar with basics of HTML? Yeah. HTML? Yeah. Basics of HTML. Okay, fine. How about you, Shabbat?
Yeah.
So when we are doing web scraping, I need to understand HTML. Okay. Alright. So before going into web scraping, let's quickly discuss some of the basics of your HTMLs, so that it will be very much helpful when we go into web scraping part. Right. So when I say any HTML page, so whatever I see in the browser is something which is written in opening HTML tag and a closing HTML tag, right? Okay. So can you tell me in which tag the entire content is written? So we have something called body. Okay. So in opening body tag and closing body tag, I write my entire HTML content. Okay. So hierarchy wise, if you see at the top, I have HTML. Inside this, now I have opening body tag. Here I have something called head tag. Any idea why we use head tag? Sinandini?
The headline of the web page. And the title tag.
Okay, so yeah, we inside this we specify something called the title. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. So first thing, your head tag is not for your headings. Okay. So generally, this entire head tag is written for your search engine. Okay. So whatever content you are writing in a head tag is not actually displayed on your web page. Okay. So consider any particular web page. So this is how your traditional HTML and how you work on HTML will define. So let's take example of Magic Bricks. Here is it. Okay, right. So if I open a particular website, all the contents which I'm able to see is entirely written inside a body tag only. Okay. Now what I will be writing in a head tag, so I'll be writing something called my title. First thing. Now, what is title? So, title is something, if you open a website, something which is displayed at this particular point of it, right? Now, it's not limited to this. So, when I say my entire head section is for my search engines, if any particular user searches for a particular query, all the search results which you see here, it will display the title of the web page. Okay? So that is the reason it is recommended that whenever you are writing a title of any particular website, you have to make it more meaningful, and you have to write with respect to of your search engine optimization. Okay, so I'll just give you the brief overview of search engine optimization also. So what is search engine optimization? As a business owner, I want that my website should be displayed in the top Google results. So let's say I have opened a new restaurant. If someone searches for the best restaurant in Bangalore, my restaurant website should be displayed in the first place, right? Now this thing cannot happen overnight. So whenever you first time launch a website, you can see a website is displayed on 40, 50, or 60 page of a Google search results, right? Now, if you're developing a website and if it's displayed on a 50th page, no one gonna go to that particular level and search and click on the website, right? So as a business owner, my responsibility is bring that particular link on the first page. Now, research shows that 60% of people generally click on the first link they saw, and around 30 to 35% generally prefer the second link. So we don't have much hit rate if your website is displayed on the third or the fourth position, right? So it's important for any business that their website should be displayed on top. Okay. Now, if I want my website should be displayed at the top, we have certain guidelines, and that is called as my search engine optimization. Okay. Now we have a different set of guideline if I'm optimizing for Google. I have a different set of guideline if I'm optimizing for different search engine. Okay. So if I switch to Bing, if I switch to Yahoo, your guidelines will be different. But the thing is, 75% of people uses Google, so it is considered that your website should be optimized for Google. But this is a trend generally everybody follows, right? Now, for optimization, now it's a very long journey. So no one will tell you what is the exact algorithm Google uses to rank a particular website, right? So your entire industry works on assumption that maybe at this moment Google is using this kind of parameters to judge a particular website. Okay. So when we talk about the evolution of such parameters, so it started with something called keywords. Okay. So let's say if I'm developing a website on which I want to offer courses to people, let's take example, I'm offering data science and machine learning. Now it's important for me. Okay, so I should add some keywords, right? So now that's the reason people started adding extra keywords on the web page. So because of that, we have a black hat SEO technique, that is keyword stuffing. So you might have seen when you try to download movies, so you will get exact link for latest movie, but when you open it, you will just find keywords there. You will not get a link to download it. Okay. So that is the reason Google introduced something called keyword density. Okay. Now it will monitor a particular keyword, how many times it is appearing based on the total number of words you have on the page, right? So you cannot say if you have 50 words on page and 40 times keyword is there, right? So Google will rank it as a bad SEO practice and it will hamper the ranking which Google is setting for you. Okay. So then it added importance to keyword in title tag. Okay. If someone is searching for a particular query and that exact search result is a title on your web page, you have a good ranking there. Same goes something called keyword on meta description. Heard of this tag, meta tag? So when you search for something, it displays the website link and some short description about that particular page, right? So this description is your meta description, which again you will add it in your head tag. Okay. If you have a keyword in meta also, then you'll have a good ranking. Okay, so this is how it started. Now Google is constantly changing. So now they are going to the code levels also. So you might have, so we have a very new elements with evolution of HTML5. So now HTML is not only limited to your head, body, and your paragraph tag and the division tag. So we have a lot new tags like section tag, article tag, address tag, navigation bar, aside tag. So all these, this will not add as a representation on the website, but these are semantic tags for HTML. So let's say you are designing your website using the semantic tags, which means Google will rectify it. Okay. Then it comes your social media engagement. Okay, so how many Facebook likes your page has, your website have, how many Twitter shares you have. So it matters for Google now. With an understanding that fake people will not share your website, and you cannot get fake likes, right? But you might have seen we have an industry around this also that pay $10,000 and they will bring you 2,000 likes to your page, right? So yes, Google will eventually overcome on this also. So it's like we are getting new black hat SEO techniques, and Google is trying to overcome on that. So that is the reason your algorithms are constantly changing, and you cannot say exact what will exactly work. Okay, so we have various parameters like back through it. If you open a particular website, immediately you click on back button. Google is tracking that as well. Okay, so if someone is clicking back button immediately, then that means that your web page is not relevant. If your page is not relevant, it will hamper your search engine optimization ranking. Okay, so that is so these are the so we have something called inbound and outbound links, right? Okay. So how many links you are getting from different web pages to your website? Okay, that is my inbound link. If more the inbound link, your website is good. More outbound link means you are just offering free links to other website. Okay, so ideally I should have more inbound than outbound links. Now, while creating inbound links, you might have seen people uses Quora for this a lot. So if someone posts a question, they'll just write an answer, but their aim is not to provide an answer. Their aim is actually to improve their search engine optimization ranking. So at the end, they will put their website link at the bottom. So in short, they are getting one inbound link from there. Okay. So these are some of the strategies which are kind of hardcore things that okay. So these has to be there on your code level, the content which you are writing for to get a better search engine optimization ranking. Okay. Now we have entire industry working on this, so which will help you to create your inbound and outbound links. It will help you to create own blogs because blogs generate more traffic. It will help you to find out which are the broken links and all these things. So, okay, coming back to HTML part. So I have this entire head section where generally I specify the CSS link for this. So when I say CSS, it's mainly related to my styling part. So for web scraping, I'm not concerned about CSS. Similarly, I will be specifying my JavaScript here using my script tag, right? Here again for web scraping, I'm not concerned about this, right? So the mainly thing I'm concerned about the content because it is written in the body tag, okay? Now when I say body tag from HTML5, generally your content is logically divided into multiple sections. Okay, so we will have a section tag. So we will have the opening section tag and the closing section tag. So similarly, I can have multiple section tags. Now inside of one section tag, ultimately I can have my paragraph tag or a division tag. Okay. Let's say I can have some paragraph tags in which I'm writing the content. So which tag we use for links? Okay. So we have something called anchor tag. right. So now we have concept of attributes. So if I'm creating something called click here, and if someone clicks here, where should that person navigate to? And that I'm specifying in a href attribute. So here I'm saying if someone clicks on this link, that person should go to www dot, let's say, google. Okay, so this is my anchor tag. So similarly for image tag, we have something called img. Right? So for that we specify src, and this is the source of dot, let's say jpg or a png file, whatever. So it can be a complete website link, or you can host it on your particular server and provide a link for this. So basically I will have something called a tag, I will have something called attributes. Okay. So my web scraping, so my intention will be I need to find out the correct element and I need to fetch the data from that. Okay. So ultimately, when you open any particular website in a web browser, you are making something called get request. So anyone knows what is get request, what is post request? So we have two types of request. One get, second is post. So let's say whenever I'm requesting or data from a particular website, we generally perform get request. Okay. So example, you just open any particular website, let's say magicbricks.com, right? So how it works, you are making a get request, your request will be sent to the server, and your server will send the entire HTML page as the response. Post request, if I have to send some data to the server, not just, I don't want a page as a response, I want to send some data so that server can perform some operations, and based on that it can return some results. So the normal use case is, let's say whenever you're filling entire any website form, whenever you're logging in, you specify username, you specify password, you click on login, it sends your username and a password to the server, and it will authenticate. If everything is fine, it will navigate you to the dashboard, so it will send you the correct link, right? So in that case, I'll be using my post request. So why we use post request is generally, if I use a get request to send the data, that is also fine. But the thing is, if I use that, it will display my entire data in my address bar, which I don't want. So that is the reason while sending the data to the server, we generally prefer post request. Okay. So when I'm doing a web scraping, my first job is get a data. Okay. So for that, I need to make a particular type of request, generally a get request. Okay. So for that, we have a library called requests. Okay. Now, once I have the response, I have a beautiful soup library to parse the HTML page. Okay. So job of my request library is to make a request to that particular web page, and beautiful soup is to parse that particular web page. Okay. So these two libraries will not be built in. You have to install it. So what you will do, from your command prompt, you will hit pip install requests. Okay. Provided you are connected to the internet, so it will automatically download this particular library for you. Okay.
This library is particularly for
Making the requests, get or post.
like from the only website from where we are trying to pull the data.
Exactly. Okay. Second thing we'll need is this beautiful soup library. So you'll write pip install beautiful soup. If it's installed correctly, and if you want to check everything is fine or not, So you can try this command pip please. Okay, it will show me which libraries I have already installed. So now if I say pip, oops. It's taking its time. Let's see. Okay, so that will show you the list of libraries. If you have Anaconda installed, it will show you the used list of libraries, and that's going to be the case for me. So that's the reason it's taking time. Okay, all right. So first thing is I need this HTML page. Okay, so for that I'm copying this. So I need to use these two libraries. So I'm saying import requests. So as I have Anaconda, so it has listed me all the libraries which I have already installed. Let's see where's beautiful soup. Okay, so it will show me okay beautiful soup libraries and stuff. Okay, so I need to write this import request, and for beautiful soup I'll write from bs4 import beautiful soup.
And these four is what?
So this beautiful soup 4 library comes under package bs4.
Okay, that's still a bit like a bigger package.
Yeah.
So we can't install that itself.
No, so it installs entire package directly when you say pip install. Okay, right. So first thing I need to make this get request. Okay, right. So for that I have a function called get, which is defined in this particular request library. So I'm saying request dot get and specify the URL. Okay. Now when you make a request, your web page will send something called a response. Okay, and that will be the HTML page. So I'm accepting as a variable called page. Okay, so if I just print this page, so it will say something called okay response at 200. Okay, so it is HTML response, and what is this 200? So this 200 stands for a status message. So when I get 200, that means I have received successfully the website page. Generally, you must have seen 404, that is page not found error. So if you are trying to request a particular web page which does not exist, your server will return 404 to your web browser. Okay. So generally, all the errors starting from 400 and 500 are reserved for your errors. So server errors we have page not found errors. So everything will have a different status code. So if you get 200 here, that means you have successfully fetched the web page. Okay. So if you want to see the content, just write page.content.
So print page is only for the status whether my page command has worked.
Exactly. Okay.
So what happens if we don't assign that like to a variable like page? We just should do like a request of
I will receive the output, but I'll not able to work on this. So further, my intention is now I received the HTML page.
Okay, that HTML page itself is stored in that variable.
Exactly. So I just printed this page.content. Now it contains my entire HTML document. So it contains my entire head body section. You can see the scrolling size of this. Okay. So let's refine this a bit. That I am looking for a house in, let's say, Bangalore. Okay, and let's search this. Okay, so when I add some filters and search it, it gives me some kind of cards like this, right? So my intention is I want the data of, let's say, this house, this thing. I want this price, and maybe we can explore this 800 square feet area also from one page. Okay, so I'm changing the URL. I'm taking this URL now. Right. So we have seen content. Similarly, we have something called status. Right. So we have this variable page status code. Now it will show me what exactly I have received. So I will go with my web scraping only if I have received 200 here. Okay. Otherwise not. So
This is a successful message code.
yeah.
200.
Yeah.
Any non-200 will be failure.
Yeah. 404, 505, 303, all these are failure messages.
We are getting actual HTML code.
Yeah.
For that,
Yeah. So now, so the job of my request library is fetch the entire HTML.
So what is the difference between all these commands, like print page, that will give me again whether it's a success or not? Print page.
No, so page will give me the entire response. It just shows me the what you have received. Okay, so it's like object you are getting of this class. Okay, with this status code. If I want the content, then I have to access a different variable called content. If I only want the status code to be verified, I have different variable.
You use the page.status, then you use status underscore code, right?
Yeah.
Page.status.
So that variable name is status underscore code.
Status underscore code. And what's the difference between status and status underscore code?
No. So that status does not exist.
Okay, status is not.
Okay. All right. So job of my request library is to get me the HTML page. Okay. Now the job of my beautiful soup is get a meaningful data from this. Okay. So that is the reason I should be good with HTML part, that so that I can extract the things which I want. Okay. All right. So first thing is you have to. So how it works? Are you aware of this DOM tree? Any idea? So when you get a HTML response from a server, your web browser constructs something called DOM tree. Okay, so it's like it will create a tree-like structure, that HTML at the top. Inside HTML, I will have a head tag, and here it will create a body tag as a sibling. Then inside a body tag, I will have something called deviation. Let's say I will have a section. Now inside one section, again I will have a different set of tags. Let's say paragraph tag. Again I have another division, and again I have a division or something like this. Right. So this is a tree-like structure. So when I create a beautiful soup, when we talk about beautiful soup, it will create one more object on top of your HTML part. Okay, and which will traverse your DOM tree. Okay, so that's what your basically beautiful soup is doing in the background. Okay, so what you will do, whenever you specify content to the soup object, it will create another object on top of entire HTML. Okay, so that you can access the entire HTML page. Okay, so how to create an object. All right. So I'm saying let's call it this object as soup is equals to again how to create object. We specify a class name, right? So I imported beautiful soup, right? So I'm write a class name, okay, and I need to pass few parameters. So first parameter I need to pass is the entire HTML content. Okay, so this is a variable which is giving me the page, the entire HTML page, right? So this is the first parameter I'm passing, and second parameter I need to pass is how I want to parse it. Okay, so I'm telling beautiful soup that this is a HTML document, so parse it as a HTML. So for that we have a default value that is HTML.parse. Okay, so now this will create a soup object. So that's why now even if I print this soup here, I will get the entire HTML page. Okay, now this soup is now the content is same, but earlier whatever content which we have seen, this is from my requests library, and this is what I have created as a soup object using beautiful soup. Okay, so now you can see it's just printing me the entire content. It's not properly indented. So for soup object, we have something called a method predefined. Is it double T? Okay, so we have this method predefined. So what it will do, it will just indent the entire content for you, so that reading this particular file will be a bit easier for you. Okay, so this is the first method which we'll be discussing, that is prettify. Okay, now let's try to drill down. So now I have entire HTML with me. I want to extract the meaningful data. Okay, so first thing I have to do is analyze how this particular web page is written. So my intention should be that I want to write minimum code and I want to access the maximum data. Was that the same result we got earlier? Right. So how I can extract the data? So I'll right click. So you can see the structure is somewhat, so they have specified everything in a card. So if I want all the values from this particular house, I have to access this entire card here, then second card, and then third card, right? So in short, if I write a for loop to which will fetch me, so at a time I will fetch data from this card. Next time I'll run the same code. So it's an iteration, and I will fetch this, fetch this. Likewise, I need to fetch from entire website, right? So for that, I need to analyze the structure. So what I'll do, so select this, right click, and inspect. Okay. So I'm trying to find out what it will give me the entire card. Okay, so if I just inspect here, okay, so it's giving me the entire card here. Okay, so you can see what is this. So this tag is a division tag. Okay, so let's try out the first method. So now I have the HTML tag. I need to find out something. So first method is find. Second is find. If I'm looking for something from a particular page or for a particular tag, So all I need to do, let's say I'm searching for a link for now. Okay. So entire HTML page is present in this soup part. So from that I am looking for a link. So that link is my anchor tag. So what this find will do, it will search for the first anchor tag from a page and it will return that link. Okay. So find will return the first occurrence of that link only. So now if I print this link, okay. So their first link is actually magictricks.com. So it looks like their title. Okay. So I can fetch any data from this now. So this will give me the first link. So this is the first method, that is fine. If I want to fetch all the links, I will just change it to all. So now it will fetch me all the links from this particular web page. Okay. So now my job is to drill down things. So I cannot get the entire data at one go. So we have seen that there is a division for this particular container, and for this we can take a help of these attributes. So this generally these attributes are used to style your page in a better way, but this you can also use to make it to use for web scraping. Okay. So you can see that we have something called this SRP card as a container. So what I'm doing, I'm just copying this and I'm searching for a particular division for which the class is this. Okay. So how to do this? Again, I have to use find all. So let's call it as a class. So let's try with first only. So what I'm looking for? Division. But I am looking for a particular division. Okay. So I can specify it as a attributes. Okay. And they should be specified as a dictionary. Now when I say dictionary, it should be a key value tag, that is class is. Okay. So in short, I am looking for a division for which the class is this. Okay. So now let's try printing this card. Let's see what we get. Are we printing the entire content again at the top? Okay. Alright. So now it has fetched me the entire content from this first card. Okay. So you can see. So now let's drill down even further. So let's say what I'm looking for, that I fetch that entire card. From this I am looking for this let's say title or and the price part. Okay. So again go and inspect. So what we can use is class title bhk, input type heading. Alright, so this is the entire link. Okay. So whatever you are selecting, it should be valid for multiple parts. Okay. So how I can check? Okay, let's if I say that this class title bhk will work for this. If I go here, if I inspect this now, will it work? Okay, if I click on this, still I have the same property, right? Now which tag is this? This is parent tag. Okay. So now all I'm doing is Control C. Okay. So now it works in a drill down approaches. Let's say I have this. I have everything in a cards, right? Now whatever I have selected is inside the cards, right? So I can say now, let's say title is equals to, initially I said soup dot find, right? But now I have filtered using cards. So next I want to filter it even further. So now I'm saying cards dot, and inside that find which tag, span tag, but which span tag, having attributes, okay, something like this. Okay, again still we are using find tag. So now let's print this title. Let's see what we get. So we printed the cards also. So keep in mind, whenever you are executing your beautiful soup, you are actually making a get request, right? Now automation is something every website will try to block. So if you try to do web scraping on your Facebook, if you try to do web scraping on a LinkedIn, it will block you. If you try to make n number of get requests in a specific period of time. So for Facebook, it's around, if let's say in 2 to 3 minutes, if you make more than 200 get requests, it will block your IP address. So from a same IP address for a particular period of time, you will not be able to access Facebook, right? So this is what advantage of which Scrappy will provide your beautiful. So that you can configure your get request, that at what time you want to send the request to the web browser. Okay. All right. So you can see for a title now it has fetched everything in that particular span element. Okay. I'm interested in this particular part. Okay. So this is a text inside this. So now I have few things called dot get underscore text. Okay. Good. So now I have fetched this. How about price? Tell me. Let's inspect this. What should I select? So it looks like this is a deviation. We have a ID, okay, and we have this class. So should I select ID or a class? So generally, ID is specified, which is completely unique. Okay. Now, if I want my script should work for multiple items, if I go with ID, I will get only one data. It will not be generic. Okay. So I'll try to go with my class part. So I copied this part. So let's say price. Price is equals to. Now I already have the entire card in this cards, right? So I'm saying cards dot find. Here I need to find division. But which division? Attributes is equals to class colon. Not friend the price. Let's say dot. Okay. So now this is giving me the price. So in short, if I just run a small loop, that just put this in a loop, and I can get the entire count. Okay, but this is not the main purpose of my web scraping. So I need to crawl through multiple pages. I just don't want to fetch the data from this, right? So even if I have to do it manually, then it will be okay. Then I can start copy this, copy this, copy this, right? The main advantage you will see. Let's say you open this link, okay, and from this link you want a particular information which is not present here, okay, for every particular website. Uh, is there something? So we have this ready to move status. Do we have it here? Oh, we have it here already. Resale is there. Floor car parking. The carpet area is there. Do we have anything else? So, on this I cannot see this society thing here. Facilities also. Let's talk about floors. Oh, come on. Give me something. Okay. So let's say now you want to fetch this price breakup. Okay. We want this price breakup for all the pages. Now, if you see, I have this entire cards. So if I want to manually, I have to open each link, go to that price section and fetch that data. Okay. So what I want, it should automatically start with this. If there is another link inside that, it should go there and fetch that data for me. Okay. So what I can do, I have to inspect it and I have to get the link also, right? Ultimately, when I say there is a link, that means there should be a href attribute. Okay. So for that, again, I'm doing inspect. Okay. So they have in here, but this particular link is specified in this href attribute, right? And this href is actually in, if I say heading, right? So it's actually in a heading part. Although we might get some extra part here, but this link is here, right? So ultimately, if I click on this link, I can get the pricing details, right? So I want to fetch this particular href attribute. So till now we have seen how I can fetch it from a tag, the tag. But what about the attribute? Okay. So for the first problem, so I'm just changing it from that span to actual this particular class, okay, so that I can able to access the link also. So I'm going here, instead of the span now I'm saying I want a deviation, and I want a deviation with this thing. Let's execute this. Let's see what we get. Right, so we are using get text. So this is the division. Now inside this division I have this anchor tag, and for this I have this href. Now this href is nothing but a new link to which I can make a get request, right? So ultimately what I'm doing that, okay, now I want this next element, right, till anchor tag only. So what I'm saying dot e. Okay. So now it will only fetch me the anchor tag. Okay, so because ultimately it's a tree like structure, so if I want to go move down in the hierarchy, if I see the tags, I can literally just specify the dot and get this particular thing. Okay, now I want a particular attribute, so I'm saying get, but which attribute I want is attribute. Okay, so now I have this link also. So how about if I create a new request and I send this particular URL, and if I fetch the page, I will get a link from the new page, a brand new page, right? And so I have this. We fetch the price also. So what I'm doing, I'm saying, let's say new underscore page is equals to request dot get. But this time my URL will be the thing which I'm getting here. Okay. So now first new page. So let's see what response we receive. Okay. It's saying response 200. That means we have reached to a successful, right? So next step will be I need to create a new soup object for this again. So I'm saying soup2 is equals to what should I write? Beautiful soup. I need a page content, so that will be new page dot content, and I need to pass it as HTML dot pass.
How do you identify like whether it's HTML or some other kind of page?
So all your web pages will be HTML pages. That's for sure. So generally, when I'm transferring the data, we'll come back to XML and JSON part. But generally, the responses which we are receiving from a particular web page is mostly. So now I have this. So ultimately, I need to do some analysis how I can figure out this part, right? So let's quickly find out this, and then we can run our loops. But how about getting the entire address? Right? This will make more sense. Let's say inspect. If I click here,
Can websites hide all this content of all this source code?
which
Can
one?
they hide? Can they hide it for like all the source
No.
code?
No. So ultimately, whenever you're making a GET request and when you are getting a response, that code can be hidden. So it is always available. So it will never show you the backend logic of it. So what generally it will do is it will run a website query for you in the backend. It will replace your HTML page with that data, and it will send that response. So your backend logic is never exposed. So whatever you want to display on your web page is public now. Plus, that is the reason whenever you are sending a response, you will get a public page. So I have this p value, but will it work every time? Let's give it a try. Okay. So I'm selecting this. So what I need to do? So I'm going here. So let's say ddr is equals to what I need to write. So to dot find, which tag was that? Deviation. So it is a deviation having attributes equals to okay, and let's try to print vddr dot let's execute this. Are we getting it? So we are getting the response, and we are getting something like this too. So so looks like we are fetching it from our own class. And in which tag they are specified this. So this p value, we are not getting a p value from it directly. Uh, so how about if I say description, content, and address? So title. So we have a lot more information this time, and we need to cut down again. What's this? So we have details. So we have this p dot value, and it looks like they are not adding any page. Alright, okay. So you can see that we have multiple this p dot value classes, and that is the reason it was not displaying this. So how about in this particular thing, if I go with this p dot info row, so I'm changing it to dt or mm, it looks like we have to do some sort of research that which is exactly will work out for me. Okay. But I guess you guys got the idea, right? So I will start from one page. Okay. So now if I want a multiple pages, let's take something which I can access it easily. So when I actually fetched this, we have this deviation, which we are taking description count. Inside description count, we have something called details. So I'll just comment this part out. So ultimately, if I am searching for a particular info on this page, I will make another get request and I will fetch that information. So now if I'm looking for multiple cards, I'll do is just write one for loop here. So because sorry for this, I will change this find method to find all. So now I'll get all the cards from that particular web page. I will write one for loop for value in cards. So now in each iteration, I will get one card at a time. So from that card, I can extract the title, I can extract the price, and I can make a new get request on that particular. Okay, so it's like hardly 10 to 20 lines of code to get information about all these cards which you have present on your Magic Picks website. Okay, so same thing you can do on any particular website. The logic will remain the same, that you have to make a request, you have to create a soup object and start digging based on your HTML page. Okay, so you have to keep in mind that you are not making too many GET requests. If you make too many GET requests, your IP will be blocked and you cannot access the particular website. So you can say it's kind of a fight between your automation and so the person, so your website owner and automation. So if you're trying to automate something to improve the performance, at the same time, website owners are taking care that no one can automate their website. And it's true that I don't want anyone to scrap my website and get the entire detail. Because ultimately, if someone makes too many GET requests, there are chances that my website might crash. Right? So this is the extra care the website owners are taking, that they will add some captchas and all these things. Again, if there is a captcha, I cannot automate it because ultimate aim of captcha is to prevent automation. Right? Yes, there are hacks available. So for automating captcha, we have used process of SHA-256 algorithm decoding. But general is it's not advised. Try to automate the captchas also. Okay. So this is the beautiful soup library that just keep on creating objects, just drill down and you can fetch and edit. Okay. So when we talk about Scrappy, the structure is different. So Scrappy will give you the step-by-step approach, uh, that at what time you have to make GET requests and everything. You can create your own pipeline. So basically, it's entire framework. But when we talk about Beautiful Soup, so it's most widely used library for fetching the data. So you can see a lot of freelancing jobs are available for this particular library. That someone needs particular set of data, they'll just post an ad. So you can get them this data because they don't know how you're getting the data, whether you do it manually or fetch it using Beautiful Soup. It's fine. Okay. Alright, so we'll stop here for today. Next time we will start with XML and JSON parsing using Python. Okay, so for practice, you can do the same thing with just type. It will be a good practice to fetching the data from just type. Okay. Another thing I can suggest is from Zclub's website. Let's say we have n number of courses. So I don't want to go into each course to fetch the course content. So I want a course title and again course heading for all the courses which we have on the Zclub's website. So I don't want to do it manually. I want my script which will be of 10 to 20 lines, which will fetch me the title and the end of content. Okay, you can try it for practice. Okay.